Hi, welcome to another mentoring moment. I'm Dr. Berin Gilfillan, and we're in a series called The Power Principles of Life. They all begin with the letter P, and today's principle is the power of a patron. A patron is somebody, I'm just going to give you a definition from the dictionary, and it says one that supports, protects, or champions someone or something, such as an institution, an event, or a cause. It's a person who's a sponsor or a benefactor, and some of the simile words, or the words that are similar to it, are a sponsor, a backer, a subsidizer, a financier, an underwriter, or a guarantor. This is somebody who comes behind a project or a vision or whatever it may be, a cause, and they believe in it so much they're willing to invest in it. And sometimes they're willing to invest in what is necessary to get that vision off the ground. What really came strongly to me when I was reading through concerning Solomon, it says this about King Solomon when he built the temple. It says, now King Solomon, this is 1 Kings chapter 7, verse 13. It says, now King Solomon sent and brought Huram from Tyre. He was the son of a widow from the tribe of Naphtali, so he had lost his father when he was a kid. And his father was a man of Tyre, a bronze worker. He was filled with wisdom and understanding and skill in working with all kinds of bronze. So he came to King Solomon and did all of his work. We see the same principle with Moses in the book of Exodus, where Moses was commissioned to build the tabernacle, but Moses didn't know how to do it. But he knew that there were people that were in the nation of Israel. And it says this in Exodus 36, verses 1 to 3. It says, and Bezalel and Aholiab and every gifted artisan in whom the Lord had put wisdom, or has put wisdom and understanding, to know how to do all manner of work for the service of the sanctuary, shall do according to all that the Lord has commanded. So there was a vision, there was a need to build this tabernacle, and God put the wisdom and the vision in the heart of people, and he put the skill in their hands, and it took the patron. Now, the Bible says that in this situation, Moses was the one saying this needs to be done. God's the one who's initiating it. But beyond that, it says that they had to generate the resources. So it says in verse number 2, then Moses called Bezalel and Aholiab and every gifted artisan in whom the Lord put wisdom, everyone whose heart was stirred to come and do the work. And they received from Moses all the offering which the children of Israel had brought for the work of the service of making the sanctuary. So now the sponsorship and the financing came from the people, came from the congregation, from the nation of Israel, and so they sowed the resources, and then the artisans were called. Now, many people have tremendous graces, giftings. They have talents. They have creative abilities, and those things will stay dormant unless there's a patron, unless somebody takes a hold of that and finances it, that undergirds it. In the book, in the film industry, they're called executive producers. They're people who back these movies, who get behind them financially. They don't know how to create a movie, but they do have a vision to create something on a cause. And so, when I was just looking at this, I was looking at one of the greatest sculptors and artists that I respect in the world was Michelangelo. I've been to the Sistine Chapel. I've seen the Pieta, and I just looked through some of his works, his greatest works that he did, and he was just a young guy, maybe in his early 20s, when in 1498 he was commissioned to do the Pieta. It took him 2 years to do the statue. It's Mary and Christ as he comes off the cross, and it's the most incredible statue. And he did it when he was a young man. 2 years by a cardinal from France, who was the ambassador for the monarchy of France. He was ambassador in Rome, and he commissioned Michelangelo to do this. Beyond that, then after he finished that, David was then taken by a committee that was in Florence and that basically was designing statues of the 12 of not the apostles, but the prophets in the Old Testament. And David was one of those. And so they commissioned him from 1501 to 1504, and he created the David statue. And what a magnificent, it still stands there today in Florence. It's an incredible, incredible statue. And then after that, he was working on a tomb for the Pope Julius. And Pope Julius says, no, I don't want you there. I want you to come and I want you to paint the Sistine Chapel. And so from 1508 to 1512, he was 4 years on his back creating that fresco and creating that beautiful ceiling on the Sistine Chapel. And those works of art endure to this day, but somebody had to sponsor them, somebody had to commission them, somebody had to ask for them, and that's the power of a patron. And some of you are patrons, and some of you are needing patrons, and some of you have enormous creative giftings, but there needs to be somebody who will believe in them and finance them. And those patrons are, to me, heroes. They're amazing, and they're people that are called to that, but there has to be a vision, there has to be a cause. And so I want to just close by sharing about a project that I feel like God had me be a patron for. I was a children's pastor for 2 years, my wife for 4, and had about 1,200 kids under our care. And I noticed that when they hit the age of 12, that many of them went on into junior high and high school, and many of them lost their faith in their teenage years. And I just had such a burden for the teen generation. And so I began experimenting on how we can create something that's relevant and powerful and fast-paced and humorous and had all those ingredients. And it took a while to find it, but I finally came across a person. I met them overseas. We were doing some filming over there. His name was Chad Daniel. And Chad was hysterically funny. He was a producer himself. He had tremendous giftings and talents, and he was an incredible minister of the gospel. And I brought him out, and I said, let's produce this. And he said, I'm not sure. He waited about a year, and I was out praying one night. I feel like the Lord gave me the name YouthBytes. And that name, YouthBytes, it was just... it just came in my heart. It was probably midnight where he was, and I called him up in the night, and I said, Chad, there's a generation going to hell, and you have a gift to reach them. I said, if you don't use that gift, God will judge you for it. And he said, okay, I'm coming out. And we then began 10 years of production. We spent over $5 million creating YouthBytes, which are these short 1 minute, 3 minute, and 6 minute videos. And all through that time, there was so much opposition from my board, from my staff, from people I respect the most in the world, just coming against me, just saying, no, there's no money in this. It's taking all the resources, and it's not going to work. And I had such an unshakable faith that God wanted to reach this generation. And I said to people, if we don't reach the teenagers, we don't have any pastors for tomorrow. We don't have any missionaries for tomorrow. We don't have anybody who's going to carry the vision forward. We need to reach the teenagers. So the power of a patron, I feel like I was a patron to that vision, because no matter what happened, I kept funding it. About $35,000 a month I was putting into that project, and I just refused to stop. I believe God, and that's why we have the YouthBytes program. I encourage you, it's a whole year's worth of curriculum for $99. Literally we were able to put on a USB and put everything into a package with all the notes and everything else. If you want to reach a teenager in your life, I really encourage you to look at YouthBytes. The power of a patron. Be a patron. Pray for a patron. Let's believe God, and let's value the patrons that God gives. So until next time, God bless you.
Are you ready to reach a generation that has everything to live with but nothing to live for? Go to youthbytes.org. We are proud to present for the first time YouthBytes, the complete collection. This collection contains more than a year's worth of powerful discipleship content for teens. The YouthBytes Complete Collection contains 60 digital episodes, accompanying teaching notes, and study guides, ready to be used in a youth group in a home or to be viewed on any smart device. Whether it's for personal use or use in a youth group, YouthBytes, the complete collection, is an affordable and dynamic program that brings Christian teachings to teenagers in a fresh and compelling way. We look forward to putting engaging tools in your hands to help you disciple the teenagers in your life. YouthBytes, the complete collection, now at the discounted price of $99. Order today. YouthBytes, reaching a new generation that has everything to live with, but nothing to live for.